From WDWNT, the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is ParksCenter. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of ParksCenter, where we're going to go over this week's top 7 news stories from the Disney world. This week, joining me on the show, I have Jill.
Hello.
Matthew.
Hi.
Nathan.
Greetings from the Sunshine State.
And Pete.
Sivako.
Welcome back home. All right, kicking off tonight's show with our first topic. The closing of the Yeti Disco is impending. Expedition Everest has been announced to be getting some tender loving care pretty soon. An imminent fix for the broken Yeti is coming. Now, Joe Rohde swore at a D23 relatively recently that he was going to be fixing the Yeti. He just confirmed July 6th that he is indeed still on this. And we've also got a few reports from some internal sources that they are personally working on the Everest project. So it seems pretty solid that something's going to happen here. What do we think is going to happen? And is this too little too late? Is this still a good ride even without it? What's the thoughts here?
I'm excited about this. I'm upset because I know it's going to be a massive undertaking because that ride is 3 different components: the roller coaster, the mountain, and the Yeti, all interlocked, intertwined, built together. It's going to be expensive and it's going to be a long refurbishment. So I'll be sad while it's down, but this is super exciting. This is one of the best show scenes. When this came out, like this was in all of the Disney promotional videos on TV, showing behind the scenes, making this, massive, I don't know how many tons it weighs, but move and swoop down at you and almost feel like, take your breath away. The disco effect is cool. For those who haven't seen the actual effect, it is unreal. So I'm very excited about this. But like I said, it's going to be a massive undertaking.
Yeah, and it seems like we expected this to occur. I remember hearing a little while ago that the whole plan was post-Pandora, then maybe they'd have the opportunity to get into Everest and fix some stuff. I was surprised, though, that the moment we sort of said, hey, this looks like it's going to happen, so many people were like, well, why does it need to happen in the first place? Can't money be allocated elsewhere? And I just thought that was such a strange vibe to have, to want to go and put it somewhere else. But it worked pretty well before, so I'm glad that they're going to redo it. And I think 20 years allows for technology to advance in a way that, hopefully they can fix it quicker and it'll be less intrusive than what they were expecting.
Is Joe Rohde calling in live?
We've got Joe Rohde on the line. No, I completely agree with both of you. I'm super excited this is going to happen because that Yeti was amazing. I feel like the people that are saying, why does this need to happen? Maybe were people that never got to see the Yeti working in the first place, because if you saw it working, what we have now is nothing compared to what it was. And I also think, from a Disney perspective, it's giving good show. This is such a massive component of what makes this ride not just a good ride, but a great attraction, a great themed attraction. And so being able to bring it back, I feel like is very important for Disney's level of quality. And I think a lot of the reason it hasn't until now is because it has been a massive undertaking. People didn't want to sacrifice the capacity on Everest, but now that's a little bit more flexible because we have Pandora. And I also think part of the issue has been this is such a complicated fix that it took them a long time to figure out how to get it done. Joe Rohde has said, we've tried other things in the past and they haven't worked. So I'm hoping this means that they now have the solution for how to get this fixed. And yes, it's probably going to take a while and it's going to require, probably pulling a little bit of Everest apart. But at the end of the day, I think a working Yeti is going to make Animal Kingdom that much better.
Yeah, I agree with all points here. This is probably the first time that it's been able to be done. I mean, before Pandora, this was the premier thrill ride, and it finally makes sense.
Just to put a cap on this, it was $100 million to build, and that was 20 years ago. So I wonder what this refurbishment will cost. With that in mind, that you're going to have to affect all 3 ride systems. It's going to be not a cheap one.
They'll be literally moving mountains.
Hey.
Thank you.
All right. On that note, we are going to be moving to the next topic here. Unfortunately, lights returning to DHS, I don't quite mean that we're getting the Osborne family spectacle lights back, but maybe this will be kind of nice and reminiscent. So we do know that we're going to be getting a Christmas overlay with Toy Story Land. We don't have a ton of details on what this is going to be yet. The only major detail that we got about Toy Story Land specifically is that Alien Swirling Saucers is going to have some holiday music on it instead of the current music. But we do know that it's Jingle Bell Jingle Bam is coming back. We've got the projection show on the tower. We've got a bunch of other new and returning offerings coming to the parks, including a new offering at Animal Kingdom, where we're going to be getting what is this? Diwali, the Festival of Lights in India, as part of the Upgrade Bird Adventure that nobody sees because you shouldn't see it.
It's got a fast pass now, or like a upper tier. So.
Imagination has a fast pass. This means nothing.
Oh God.
I'm excited for this. I think Toy Story Land is the perfect thing to have a Christmas overlay for. I certainly hope and fully expect that there's going to be more than just holiday music on Swirling Saucers. But I mean, think about it. What do you get at Christmas when you're a kid? You get toys. Toy Story Land. I want to see like things wrapped up in huge boxes and, you know, snowflakes and Christmas lights in like massive size everywhere. I think that's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I was gonna say what actually intrigued me in there, probably more than anything, was the Festival of Lights. It's always felt like Animal Kingdom never really got the same holiday treatment that the other three parks got. Mm-hmm. So I think this is going to be a big step up in finally bringing Animal Kingdom into the holiday fold.
Yeah, and I loved sunset seasons, right? Correct? Am I saying that correctly?
Yes.
I feel like I'm not. But it was great last year, and it seems like they're upping that and they're adding lasers or something, which, sure. I mean, I think it was great the way it was before, and it might tilt a little bit too much. I don't know. We'll see. But it's been a real hoot what they've done with Hollywood Studios last year. Sure, it's no Osborne, but it's got a very fun, where it's this, you know, kind of Dickensian Christmas Carol over at Magic Kingdom. It's like this fun 1950s vibe, kind of kitschy thing going on at Hollywood Studios, and it was a blast last year. And anything they can add will be great. And any sort of Alien Swirling Saucers jams, I'll take, because they're already fun.
Yeah, go ahead. No, your ladies first.
I was just gonna plug the fact that Wreck the Halls is in December. So if you're coming to Wreck the Halls, you're also going to get to see all of this holiday overlay at all the parks.
I thought all this was going to be really cool. I do enjoy, like, Toy Story Land's going to get a holiday overlay since the lighting in there already is Christmas lights being strung across. So that'll be fun. I know the Alien Swirling Saucers. I know the lighting matches the music. So if they did new lighting effects too, that would be really neat as well. I think this will actually make more sense. I think as we see more develop at Hollywood Studios, what'll make more sense. I think Jingle Bam and all that fun stuff.
Next year we'll get Star Wars Christmas, like the Christmas.
No,
special.
but it just felt a little forced. Like they just needed like another holiday show, and the Sunset Seasons felt like they were kind of testing stuff out. So I think it's going to kind of come into its own over the next few years. But the more holiday stuff, the better. And I'm pumped about the Diwali in Animal Kingdom.
Well, moving on from adding more lights to Hollywood Studios to lights going out in Hollywood Studios, they had a power outage this week. So this happened. What was it? Around when did this start?
One light goes out, they all go out.
5 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah,
it was around 5 o'clock. They started coming back up with power around 8:20 p.m. So that's a 3-hour power outage in a major theme
less
park.
than 2 weeks after Toy Story Land opened.
They must have emptied that park. I don't know who would have stuck around. I guess there was a couple things running.
It was all that air conditioning in the new Toy Story Land. Oh wait.
Yeah. I think it has something to do with Star Wars. I they'll never tell us, but I think they were working on Galaxy's Edge, and
blew a
Obi-Wan
fuse.
dropped his lightsaber again and hit the power cable.
Someone doesn't have a job right now.
You
Classic
know,
Obi-Wan.
unprotected exhaust port.
Yeah.
And
So reports were that the cooling system went down. So basically nothing had air conditioning, although I find that odd
It
because
was a thermal exhaust port.
yeah, it was. But, there's no air conditioning in Swirling Saucers or Slinky Dog, so I'm not really sure why that meant everything went down just because the air conditioning was down. And meanwhile, Muppet Vision was still up, and that I can't imagine that with no air conditioning in the middle of July.
But if you were
So-
testing new
Tonight's-
air conditioning units for July in a new part of the park that's not open yet, that could possibly be.
I was going to say that this is a perfect storm in terms of who gets to blame who, because you have a new area that just opened. You have Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which could have been that. They're working on that. You have Star Wars Land. They're working on that. They're also getting most of that, likely now is the time they're setting up their Christmas and fall overlays. So whatever's going to be shown or seen, they're installing it now, especially since Halloween starts in August in Walt Disney World. So these are all, it could have been anything. And it was unfortunate. I can't believe
and
it
then you'll
took 3
find
hours
out
and
it's
that it
Tower of
wasn't.
Terror.
But I can't believe that it just took 3 hours and that it was the whole park. I mean, you would think that those would be individual grids or circuits per
Mhm.
certain areas,
Yeah.
and also that the generators wouldn't kick on faster as well for
Yeah.
certain things.
That's why I have a hard time believing that it was just the cooling system.
Well,
and
I
not-
heard there was a fire. Wasn't there a fire involved?
No, that was Pandora months ago.
Oh.
And then it was also
Maybe
the
the
Dragon
fire
on
was
Main
still
Street. It was
going.
also the Dragon on Main Street months ago.
Yeah.
No, Matthew, I remember hearing the same
Moment of
rumor.
silence for Maleficent.
Substance to
It was Maleficent Returns down Hollywood Studios.
No.
It's a shame we have so many fires that we assume have things on fire.
I'll just put this over here with the rest of the fire.
Yeah.
And other things I read in reports on this were that they stopped bus service to studios to get people to not come to studios once the power was out, and that cast members were basically telling people, I don't think you should bother going to studios right now.
Baby, when the lights go out.
Next topic. All right, moving on. All right.
This show's free, and that's still too much.
That's bonus
Moving on
material.
to another Hollywood Studios related story. The annual pass holder exclusive time that we announced a while back that was going to be coming in September. We had the reservations for that go up this week on the 11th, in fact. So actually about a week ago. And in less than 3 hours, all the available dates in the month of September have been blocked by pass holders. I think personally, just from what I heard from other people, it was a lot closer to 2 hours than 3, but it was definitely under 3. So this offering apparently is just super important to people. It was just Tuesday, Thursday, Sundays from either 7 to 8 a.m. or 8 to 9 a.m. if I remember correctly. Yeah, it looks like that's what this says here, so it's agreeing with me. Yeah, there we go.
I mean, anything that is free will go fast when it's Disney. And what's shocking is I didn't. They always send you stuff and emails and all sorts of business, and then the one thing that you want them to send you, they don't send you. And of course, I didn't get in. I know several people that didn't even get a shot because it was so fast. And it's great that they have this preview, but at the same time, I sort of had to say, it's not that big of a deal. Like I rode Alien Swirling Saucers the second night it was open, and I have yet to do Slinky Dog because I'm silver and I'm getting gold in August, and I'll go. But it won't be that hard to get on Slinky Dog. Like I'll have to wait or get there early, but it's still not going to be a strain. So I think it's nice that they have this, but I don't think it's like a necessity to get and enjoy these things. I just don't think it is.
I am one of the people who did get it, and it was by pure luck because I was happy to check Twitter, and I saw someone said, "Go check your emails if you're an AP." I got my email at 3:28. I saw the tweet at like maybe 4 o'clock, so it was a half an hour in. Logged on, and then literally because I'm a planning nut and I live in New York, I had to look up flights, and then I was like, oh, I had a few options, so I was looking up crowd sizing, and somehow I still got it for me and my buddy who's another AP. For me, it's just. I think I probably would have skipped it. I mean, when I go in September, it'll be the 3rd time I'm there. So I already will have done Toy Story Land twice. But it more for me was the thrill of a pass holder event. I've never got to go to attend any kind of pass holder event. So to have that something special. And again, we're talking about 1 hour extra in the park in the morning.
Yeah.
But it's something special, and it's another reason to go to Walt Disney World, and it's why not? And apparently I was lucky because then when I was telling other people, hey, did you get yours? Or like, it's closed out. How'd you get in? And I had not realized that it was literally gone, I think, by 5:30. And again, I got the email at 3:28. So that's 2 hours and change before it was sold out completely.
So I actually have a little bit of strong opinions on this one myself. I did not get the email.
Neither did
I am a pass holder. I did not get the email. I did get in because I had friends who sent me the link to the website, and then I logged in with my account credentials and everything worked. But I never got the email in the first place. So if it weren't for them, I would have not known about this at all. I'm not allowed to take somebody who's not a pass holder. This bothers the heck out of me. I'm going down in September with my mom and my sister. I'm the only one with an annual pass, and I got in and can't take them. And I think that that's just ridiculous. Like, why can't I? Like, they're family. Like, I can prove that they are related to me by blood. Can you please still let me just take just my sister even?
I
Like,
know we're in overtime, and especially I think you're dead right for this. If this would have been a soft opening before the land opened, where they had a limited amount of time, but this is easy for Disney to extend it to October, opening the park an extra hour too early. And also, to your point, it's obviously a capacity thing, but if they can extend it 2 months, so all September and October, then let someone, every pass holder gets one guest, something like that.
Yes, yeah, that's all.
Well, and I think the other thing to remember here is that this is a substitute for not having pass holder previews, so it's still the same where there's very limited capacity for those.
That's fair. Moving on and getting me to zip my big mouth about topics for a moment here. We've got Epcot's KitKat Ziploc in dock.
Wow.
That happened this week. Yeah, I worked hard on that one, folks. So the Ziploc is now the sponsor of the KitKat Fun Stops in Epcot. It just writes itself. The Ziploc bag that they get for this is kind of cute. I'll give them that. It's like a little tiny suitcase. I like that. But then everything that you're getting going around is just these little info cards that have facts about the country on them, a drawing you can draw on the back. I'm honestly not a big fan of this. What do other people think about this as a whole?
I kind of like it.
Oh, go for it.
Go ahead, Matt.
Well, I think it's always good to refresh those KitKat stops every few years. And I have to say the collector cards seem a little more enticing to me. Obviously, I am a 27 going on 28-year-old adult, not a child. But to me, I think the cards would be more enticing than just coloring a Duffy or a mask. It doesn't really add anything unique at each stop. That's just something you can do once and kind of be done with it.
When I'm helping people design their trips to Walt Disney World, I'm always looking for stuff that the kids can do, and also for the stuff adults can do. And all the adults kind of want to go have some drinks around the world, and a lot of people don't even know these KitKat things were there. So I think this is fun, and I also like when a lot of kids go back to school from their Disney vacation. Now they have these cards. They're educational, which going back to edutainment, which Epcot, is founded upon. I think it's fun. They get these little stamps, these little cards. They're collectibles. They can put them in a little book, and they learn something about the country. And they'll still have the arts and crafts and whatnot. So hey, exactly what Matthew said. Any plus here is a good thing, and I love that it's sponsored, and I love that little Ziploc bag. I'm gonna go to all the KitKats now. So
yeah, I would just say, it's I think nice to see, oh, look, there's a new corporate sponsor in Epcot. And B, I'm amused by the fact that both this and the previous KitKat items have some level of usefulness for adults. Here you get a Ziploc bag. When it was Duffy, you got a paint stirrer that you can use when you get home. So, there's a little bit something in there for adults too.
Quick thing though, as I think the only big problem with this is this was their first sort of big opportunity to add something to the Disney Play app and incorporate it with the KitKat stuff, and they didn't. And
I don't think it necessarily just not coming, because a lot of things are not really up and running yet on that Play app. From what I've heard.
That's true.
So if the sponsorship just kind of was a late addition, I'm sure you'll see something around the corner. Or they're definitely asking Ziploc if they want to be in it, and they're asking for more money.
Right.
Because money.
Yeah. And also, good transition there. Because of money, the Guardians of the Galaxy coaster exterior will not have theming. They tried to justify this when this was announced, or I guess maybe we're trying to justify it for them. I'm not sure where this justification comes from. But the theming of Epcot is kind of light on like immersion. You are in Epcot. You're not in like in the Magic Kingdom's Adventureland. You are in an entirely different place. When you're in Frontierland, it's entirely different. In Epcot, you're in Epcot. So you can get away with some buildings just kind of sitting there. But honestly, I feel like this is just a little lazy and a bit of a cost-cutting measure because they didn't want to spend all of the money on trying to theme this giant building.
I think if it wasn't square and boring, like if it had a little bit of an angle to it, we probably wouldn't have as much of an issue with it. But I don't get any complaints about this. Swan and Dolphin is just like sticking out like a sore thumb, and people are like, "Oh, but this is the building that really." And this is just sour grapes from people who don't want Guardians to be there in the first place. Yeah, I mean, it could be themed, but what's the theme of Test Tracks? It looks like a tuna fish can. Like, there's not. It doesn't really matter that much. I think a little bit of design would have been interesting, but most of the complaints I think are just sour grapes.
I see. I'm on both sides a little bit here. I think it should have some sort of something, just not a painted blue building. The people are complaining because obviously beams stand out very, very much, and you can see it from everywhere. But I kind of disagree that Epcot is light. I mean, yeah, they're lighter on theming, but even as you walk through either Future World or World Showcase, every country in the World Showcase, you feel like you're in that country. That's the beauty of it. You're walking through the streets of Morocco. You're in France. Off in the distance, you see the Eiffel Tower. Even when you're looking across the lagoon there, like when you look from the edge of Mexico into Morocco, even the paint is the same color as Tower of Terror way back in the distance. And the shape of it looks like another Moroccan building behind it. So they thought of all these things, and that isn't another park, let alone this giant building going inside of Epcot. I hope it gets something. Even like, Nathan makes a great point. Test Track looks like a giant tuna can, but at least it's like shiny. And I'm not saying that to be funny. Like, it's not just a painted blue building that's round. It at least has some panels on it. It's got some flash to it. It could be futuristic if you wanted to put that spin on it. So I hope they do something. Obviously, it won't be as heavily themed as reported. And again, those are rumors. When of course a rumor catches fire in the Disney community, it goes all over the place. But I hope they do something.
Even a coat of paint.
I think that's
more than that.
True, though. That was the point of our article, is that there are rumors in the Disney fan community that it will be themed, and our information coming from inside Disney World is telling us that it will not be themed. But I mean, I don't know. I understand what you're saying, Pete, about the fact that, all the World Showcase countries are themed, and when you're inside them, you feel like you're in the country. But at the same time, when you're standing across the lagoon, sure, you see all those countries, but you also see the Swan and Dolphin, like Ben mentioned. You're going to see the Skyliner. So there are things in the horizon and the sight lines that already take you out of any kind of true immersive theming. You can see the show building for Soarin', and that's not themed. So I don't really see any.
But even the Swan and Dolphin isn't just a big square building. There's beautiful statues and these beautiful swan and dolphins on top of the building.
Beautiful is one way to describe it.
I'm just saying it's something, and that's what I'm saying. I think this building will have. It will have something, not just a painted blue, or go away green, big brown box.
What do we think of pipes? Pipes worked last time. More pipes.
Yeah,
right?
More pipes. They're used it. I mean, they use it everywhere.
Gosh. Moving into our last topic, going from pipes to a series of tubes to WreckIt Ralph.
Oh my gosh, the transitions. Ben is on fire tonight.
You gotta try.
The transition king.
So don't tell the corn dog king. So WreckIt Ralph is going to be getting a VR attraction coming into the Void in Disney Springs and Downtown Disney relatively soon. Sometime this year, according to our intelligence. So what's going to be happening is it's going to be kind of splitting 50-50 between WreckIt Ralph and the Star Wars Secrets of the Empire experience that already exists there. And honestly, I'm really looking forward to that because I want to see something that's a little more family friendly than Star Wars Secrets of the Empire. That seems a little intimidating. WreckIt Ralph seems a lot more approachable and enjoyable for either younger children or people who are intimidated by like VR experiences like that. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
I think that. Oh, we're all excited. Apparently, I think this shows. We've heard all these rumors about WreckIt Ralph being in Stitch's Great Escape, and then there was this talk of, I think it might be a VR thing. And then Bob Iger came out and said, no, there's not going to be any VR in the parks. I think this is that final piece. I think this explains what all of those rumors were about. So I think what this solves for me is what's not happening with Stitch, which is a WreckIt Ralph ride. I think we can almost say that that's not going to happen now since all this sort of VR WreckIt Ralph stuff got wrapped up in what ended up being the Void, concept. At least that's what I think. I'm excited to see what happens, of course. And I haven't tried either of these Void things, but I think they look like a lot of fun. I hope WreckIt Ralph's longer than Star Wars. It's really hard at that price point. In the minutes you get, it doesn't really.
Did you say you have done it or you have not done it?
I have not, and I want to, but it's just again that price point and how much.
I've done it twice now, and it's pretty neat. I'm not. And everyone knows this, and make fun of me, and I'm sorry. I'm not the biggest Star Wars guy, but I'm going to really get into it before 2019. But I thought the experience was pretty neat. But now this is what brings up my concern is that you put on a pretty heavy pack and a pretty heavy headpiece, and they strap it on real tight because you literally do feel like you're floating, going through doors, being lifted, being dropped. So I like that it's more family friendly, but I don't know if these kids are going to be able to wear these heavy packs and headpieces, and that's my biggest concern. But I'm very excited to see them mixing it up and having at least two options at that VR experience.
Right now the minimum age for Star Wars is 10, and you have to be, I think, at least 48 inches tall. So there are height and age requirements that I don't know that they're going to be able to change for WreckIt Ralph because it's part of, like Pete said, the very heavy equipment that you need to wear. But that being said, I think it is really awesome that they're introducing something that is a more family friendly kind of experience, as opposed to running around and shooting at people with blasters, which maybe not everybody wants their kids doing. And I also think it's really cool that they're integrating, WreckIt Ralph. I think that because it's such a fantastical world, and granted, I'm sure this is going to be based much more on the second movie than on the first, just because I think looking at the first movie, it's going to be more difficult to integrate some of those environments into a VR setting where you're going to feel like you're really there, especially, so much of it was about, racing the cars and crushing buildings.
Doesn't WreckIt Ralph come out in November, and that's when this debuts?
Yes. Apparently it's going to be like the exact same day. You have the Incredible
Summer, you have the WreckIt Winter. Yes.
Just in time for Wreck the Halls.
WreckIt Winter.
Oh gosh, we're going to have to try and find some way to work this into that.
All
right, folks, thank you for joining us. Nope. I'm sorry, what was that?
I'm all about a group excursion to the Void during Wreck the Halls.
Yes.
Yeah. Do that after Foot Golf.
Right?
Yes.
That's just a rumor. All right, folks, thank you for watching ParksCenter. Really do appreciate you coming and watching this. It's what makes this worth doing every week. Coming up this week, we have on July 22nd, See a Real 8 with Tom Corliss. This is an exclusive show only for our Wigs members, where we essentially do our take on a late night talk show. And I love it. I look forward to it every time we do it. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/WDWNT so that you can get access to that and a bunch of other programs that we've got coming for Wigs members only. We will be back again next week. And coming up right after the show, we do have another perk for our Wigs members, a live post show. Where we're going to hang out, chat about a whole bunch of things, including, I think, some editorial that was posted on the website by someone in this call.
No idea.
So if you're interested in that, hang on out, and we will see you all in a bit. If not, we will see you again next week.